gonna give Nas back his shit, man. He's gonna give him back his shit, man.
Is that how we're gonna start this?
That's how we're gonna start.
So here's the truth.
Right.
The truth is, first things first.
Mm-hmm.
I sold my share, which is 2%.
2%.
That's all it was.
2%.
I'm the executive producer of Illmatic, and it was written.
Right.
My share is 2%.
2%.
That's it. I'm entitled to sell my share.
Right.
I offered it back to Nas,
Right.
but Nas gets it back in 7 years anyway. So he was like, "Oh, go get your money." 2%. And I don't own Nas's publishing. Never did.
So when Jay-Z says
He was fucking with him.
I know who I paid
Searchlight Publishing. So here's the truth about that story.
Right.
I was the head of promotion, CHR promotion at Def Jam.
Right.
We're about to put out Reasonable Doubt. And Biggs, Dame, and Jay came to me and they said, "Hey, we got to clear the sample on Dead Presidents. Come out for presidents to represent me on Illmatic." So I said, "Yeah, it's not a problem. Give me a check for $2,500 and I'll clear it. It's not a problem." They were like, "That was it?" Yeah, I said, "That's it." I went to Zomba. I saw the president, Richard Blackstone. I said, "Hey, this is what we're going to take." I said, "But we'll take 50% of the publishing." So Nas owns, yeah. So what I love to say is, while Jay likes to say that, Nas owns Jay's publishing. Jay does not own Nas's publishing.
Wait, what? From that record?
From that record,
Correct.
He took 50% of the publishing.
Exactly right. I made that deal.
Wait a second. So when Jay dropped Reasonable Doubt again in 2005, right? That was 2005 when he did the thing at
Any
Radio
printing
City?
of
any
any printing that says Dead President, Nas owns 50% of that song. And I own none of it. I administer. So what I do is, being the administrator,
Right.
is I just sign and approve it. And for that I get 5%.
Yeah,
I don't own anything.
One-time fee or
Yeah, I was-
No, for life.
for life? 5%.
But I just, yeah.
Okay, up until you sold, as in, I'm sure there's a lot of artists, there's a lot of aspiring label owners, there's a lot of people who want to be in the music industry. They want to understand the worth of the business as well as how the business works.
Yeah.
What was that 2% worth?
It was a nice check. But it was also a check that I ate off of for 27 years. So if you want to get deep in the weeds on this, because here's what I honestly believe.
Right.
People don't want to really understand the business. They just want to make money in the business.
Right.
They don't really want to understand the business.
Right.
That's a fact.
They just want to make money.
Right.
But if you really want to understand the business, artists receive their rights back after 35 years. It's called the 35-year rule.
Right.
So the original recordings revert back to the artist that recorded the art. So for example, Third Base will receive all of the Cactus album and Derelicts on December 1st of this year. I will own all of my original recordings.
Well, is there a re-release, a celebration?
Of course, all of that. Because Def Jam hasn't released the record in 2.5 decades, and I have never seen a royalty check ever from Def Jam. Ever.
Wow.
Never. I got a check when I signed, and when I did Derelicts, I got another check, and that was it. So I will make whatever I make on the records that I will now own. Same thing for Nas. So Nas will have all of his rights revert back to him on Illmatic, and it was written in 7 and 9 years.
Me meeting Nas was a phone call with the homies. You know, homies be like, "Yo, I got a man from Brooklyn get busy. Oh, my man from Queens get busy." You know, and we was on the phone, and there was a few people on the phone, and me and Nas kind of more or less was in the same zone, so we exchanged numbers, and we kind of dialogue periodically, and then he was in the studio working on Illmatic. And happily, he's like, "Yo, come to the studio, man." You know what I mean? After a while, because I wasn't trying to get on. You know what I mean? So when I get there, I see him, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I thought he was like 250 pounds. You know what I mean? The way he pop, you know, the way he dialogue and spit the lyrics,
Right.
and just being there was good. Coming to vibe with him, you know what I mean? He's same height, same weight, same everything. So we kind of connected on that note. And being in the studio, seeing how he kicked it, and I'm there. I think he was working on the last song for Illmatic. And we was in there vibing, and LES put the song on, and I was in my zone. He was like, "Yo, let me hear that." I'm like, "Fuck out of here, you want to hear this?" Because I already know, you know, he's loved in the streets. Me, I rap, but it's not, I wasn't going for a deal at the time.
Right.
And then when I spit it, you know, everybody in the studio was like, "Yo, that's it." Like, that's what? They're like, that's it. All right, fuck it, that's it. So I didn't know it was gonna make the album. Still, like, we did it. We speak for about a week, whatever, and he's like, yo, I turned the album, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. He's like, and Life's a Bitch is on it. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
I hated my voice, you know what I mean?
Why?
So I'm like, ah, shit.
Why did
I didn't
you?
know how I was gonna get perceived. You did, because I already know with halftime out and whatever joint he had out before he had halftime and
One, it ain't hard to tell.
it ain't hard to tell.
right.
You know, they love him everywhere. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh shit. But I got love after that. So, you know, I just was vibing with him more. You know what I mean? Went on an Illmatic tour and got my deal through that. And then that's history.
But you said you didn't want to do. You want to look.
I didn't. But if you got 10 people knocking on your door throwing you some money, that was a beautiful segue out the street.
Right.
Why didn't you want one?
Because he was in the streets.
No.
man. You ain't just here.
Not only that, I didn't think I was qualified enough.
That's what I'm
in my
hearing.
mind. Yeah, I didn't think I was qualified enough. I mean, you know, when you got a bar and he's the bar, his bar was up there. I'm like, you know, this is me. We talking about young. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was qualified. You know what I mean? But when the record got out there and people knew what it was love after that.
But even with all these people saying, "My man from Brooklyn, get busy. You gotta come." None of that.
It don't dawn because the people always gonna advocate for you. You know what I mean?
No, they won't. No,
No, they don't.
not.
They don't always do that. They don't
Well,
always
back
do
then,
that.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of people.
I mean,
Right.
even putting your reputation next to somebody else
Right.
means something. Like if I'm saying this dude is nice and he shows up and he's trash, it's terrible. But
But nobody was on then. Nobody cared. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, rap. Y'all rap. Nobody was on, so it wasn't like, yo, Kane want to hear it. You know what I mean? At the time, or Rod want to hear it. Then now it's like, I ain't spitting over it. You know what I mean? But when it's your peer and it's your peoples, they getting on. It's like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Why haven't we ever heard a Royce the 5'9" and Nas collaboration? You and Nas. Why haven't we ever seen that?
That would be so
collaboration. That would be
fire.
That's like a no-brainer, right? Like,
Now, like, once you said it, it's like, yeah.
Back in the day,
Jesus.
people were working with Primo.
huh.
Well, listen, it ain't because of me.
Okay.
I mean, I tried a couple times, and you know how it is with artistry, man. It's like you got to come across each other at the right time.
Right time.
Timing is everything. Nas dropped a classic when I was still in high school. He changed the world when I was in high school.
Right.
Now, when I got into the game, he was already a superstar.
Right.
By the time I got on his radar to a point where he knew I existed and he respected what I was doing, he was going up and down, up and down.
Okay.
Inspired, not inspired. Inspired, not inspired. Now, he's making investments. He's doing other things.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to get him before we lose him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be fire though.
But it's just about catching him at a time where he's doing features, where he feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. If I had more of a personal relationship with him, I would be able to better answer that.
Right.
Every time I see him, it's love. You know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
can't, you know, it's the same with Jay-Z. I ain't never worked with Jay-Z. You don't think I want to work with Jay-Z? Jay-Z, Nas?
But is it like is there pressure behind that question where you're like, do I ask him?
It's difficult for me to ask anybody for
Why?
anything. I mean, you know, man, I just don't.
Communication is the key, man.
Yeah, man, you know, you could give advice, nigga. That don't mean you give advice. Yeah, but I'm you know, man, I don't like to bother people, you know, like, and I that's one of the things I'm working on, you know what I mean? I'm working on that part of the artistry. You know, I think I got the in the studio part down.
Right.
But just as it pertains to collaborating, I've become better at that since I've been in Slaughterhouse. Before we did Slaughterhouse, I hated collaborating.